Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be explaining Figma MCP servers, how they work and how you can make use of it in development. So the way we write code has changed drastically. Right now, the way it used to be is when we want to ideate, the designers go to Figma and then they come up with some sketches, they come up with like some UI, and then developers implement these things. But these days it's way easy for you to prompt Claude to come up with a very good starting point and even some very crazy ideas and all. And then for a designer who is on your team who wants to tweak the designs and all, they can easily like take this to Figma. And but previously this would have needed to be manual, needed to like maybe take screenshots. But with the release of Figma MCP servers, it's bridging that gap, it's bridging the design development gap, and now you can move the development to design to development. So say I have this which I worked on, and the designer on the team wants to tweak the way it appears and all these things. Instead of just explaining with word of mouth, I can just move this to Figma. The designer can implement some changes, and then from Figma, still using the Figma MCP, I can also bring back the implementation to code easily. And that's what we are going to be looking at in this video. So I have my code editor, and this is like the code powering this UI, and I can just run Claude. But before I do this, the way to set this up differs per AI agent that you're making use of. Now if you're I would link this documentation in the description. Now if you're making use of Claude Code, it's advised to just make use of the Claude plugin, which Claude recently introduced Claude plugin, which is like a conglomeration of MCPs, AI agent, skills, and this this helps a lot. And if you want to go the MCP route, you can use this command, you just add this. But if you want to go the plugin route, so it's part of the official plugins that Claude introduced. So when you go to claude.com/plugins, you go to Figma, it's going to open up here, and then you can just copy this install command, and that's what I'm going to be using. If you're making use of any other AI agent, you can just scroll. You would see that of Codex, you see that of Cursor, you see that of VS Code, and you can just add it to your mcp.json file depending on what you're using. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to take the Claude Code plugin command. And so just to confirm, if I go to plugins, you will notice that I don't have any installed plugin, so I can just open another tab and just run the command. Now once I run the command, it tells me that this is successful, and I can come back here. So let me just escape and go back to plugin, and then I go to installed. Okay, it's not here, so I'm just gonna exit clear and come back. Now once I come back and I do /plugin and I go to the install tab, so I get to see Figma plugin there, but it's not yet authenticated. So you use the up and down arrows on your keyboard to move up and down, just the way you work on a terminal. So I come down, once I click on it, so I say I want to authenticate, so it needs to authenticate with my Figma account so that it's able to access my Figma project. And yeah, so I'm going to give access to it, and then I can just close this tab and go back to my terminal, and it tells me that authentication is successful. So once authentication is successful, you can just confirm, can you list the available project in my Figma account. Now the MCP is able to also help you create projects. So say for example, I have not created a project for this, I can tell it to create a project, or I can just go there and create a project and copy the URL, or just know the name. Let's say I name it. So for example, now Figma giving to find your projects, you need to browse through. Okay, but actually it's able to actually create an MCP. But so we save a lot of time, we can just come here, create a project. So it's untitled. I can just copy the URL. So what I want you to do is I want you to push the home page UI to this Figma project. Sorry, pardon my typo. But now you're going to see the way this works behind the scene. I actually wrote a blog post explaining what happens behind the scenes. So if you're somebody who loves to understand what's going to happen, after I've typed this prompt, something's going to happen. It's going to like create some IDs, it's going to take a screenshot, it's going to add something to the script. So I wrote this blog post inside the Figma MCP. What happens behind the scene once that happens. So it's going to add a script to my project for it to be able to capture. So we're gonna see all of that right now. So it's going to run localhost 3000. So I'm just going to keep accepting. Now there are tools. So you know, MCP servers comprises of tools which it calls. So there is a tool for it to generate Figma design. So I'm just going to say yes for it to run it. So it's going to create a Figma file. So but we already have a file, so it's not supposed to create a file. But like I said previously, it has the capability of creating a file. So let's say there was no file, let's say I didn't pass a URL, and then it could have just created a file. But I think it's able to, like, it sees that I have a file based on the URL I gave it, and it's able to like get the file key. So I think we can try and trace this. I think the key, this is the key here, this JTD blah blah, and that's what is able to like extract. So I just say yes, and so that is the target file. Now what happens is it begins to scan through the project. So like I said, this is like a dynamic project. But yeah, you see here it says it's going to inject a capture script to the document.tsx file for it to capture. So I'm just going to accept this. So it's going to add this to the document.tsx file. It's just a basic script. So like I explained in the article, the capture script, so it sits quietly, and instead of needing a browser extension, especially, the capture script simply watches this. So whenever it sees a URL with this kind of hash, then it wakes up and begins the capture process. So when we come back here, so you notice it is trying to open this to my browser, and you see it's adding like this Figma capture blah 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 with the ID. Now when I run this, what's going to happen is it's going to open this tab, and then it says sending this to Figma, and then once it sends this to Figma, it says Figma, it's sent already. So when I go to my Figma, you see I'm going to see like the project. So it has exported this, and this is interactive. I can edit something, like it has the files, the images, everything is exported. You can see the images. It even does the whole auto layout stuff, and it follows the right procedures. You can adjust everything. So when I go back to here, it's going to confirm that this is already moved to and like I told you previously, these images are actually coming from iGraph. So the way the all these products are coming from iGraph, so it's pulling everything. But what's happening is that it's accessing the HTML file, and it's using that to like get the screenshots. So not just the screenshots, even like with interactivity, I kind of explained everything here, how that it maps the div containers to frames, the images to image fields, text elements to text layers, all those things. But these are not intricacies like that you have to understand. But let me go back. We have two other pages, so it tells us that we can view it here. So I'm just gonna tell it I have two other pages, which is the products page and the dynamic page. Let's also export those to Figma. So let's see what it's going to do here. So since we already have the capture script, this is going to be pretty basic. So it's just going to generate the ID, So it's going to generate like an ID or so, and then so capture ID generated, and then it's going to map that to the URL. It's going to open it in your browser, then it's going to take the screenshots and all of those, right? But for the product page, it's a page that loads a whole of image and products from iGraph. So it needs to ensure that all the products are loaded. So a static page is totally different, but for a dynamic page, it needs to ensure that everything is loaded from iGraph. So it says trying to. So if you see here, it's trying to like load. If you see here, it's trying to like load the various products all from. So once it loads it, and I click like yes, it's gonna open the. Okay, this is the dynamic page. It opens it, then it sends it to Figma. When I go to Figma again, I'm gonna like have the dynamic page loaded in Figma. So I just need to go back, and then we should load um the actual products page. So I think that may take a little bit of time, but yeah, so the product detail is done, still polling for the product pages. So it's trying to like load all the products. Yeah, but looks like, so it says the page is still loading, so it's gonna wait extra 5 seconds and try again. Let's see. So the page is still loading. So that is because like it's taking all of this from iGraph. So it could take a little while, but everything is going to work. So it just needs to ensure it gets all the product before like opening a browser, so that like there's no lazy loading or all of this kind of stuff, right? Okay, so now it says the product page might need a reopen, blah blah blah. So let's see this. Okay, so this should work. Sending to Figma. Okay, it's sent already. So this is the product page where I have like all the products here. So I can just go back and let's see. I think the project should wrap up. But yeah, so we have been able to like move all the pages to Figma, and everything is interactive. You can move elements around. Say I want to add like an actual logo or whatever, I can take out this text from here. You see everything is aligned. I can take it out from here. I can change whatever I want to change. Now I'm really not a designer. I would have tried to like implement something, but let's see. Maybe if I change this guy, I don't know how that's gonna work, but say but let's say I change the color to something like this, and I change the button. I okay, I think that's typed, so maybe I just leave it as shop now, and then I take off this powered by iGraph entirely, and I say built by Joel. Yeah, obviously these are not things you want to do in Figma. These are things you can just prompt Claude Code to do. But let's say you are revamping the whole structure, or let's say I want to move this guy to the top. Yeah, so let's see what's possible. So say I tell it some changes have been done to the home page. Can we implement that on the UI? So I hope it's not going to be confused. I mean, some changes have been done on Figma. Can we sync that to reflect the code? So what tool is it calling? Let's see what happens. Okay, so here it says calling the get design context tool. This is a different tool. All along it has been calling the generate Figma design tool, but now it's getting, so let's see, no IDs have been added, blah, blah. Let's see if it's able to. I got the Figma design now. Let me read the current homepage code to compare what's changed. Okay, so maybe I would have been a little bit explicit to like say changes in the hero section and changes in the banner, but let's see what it's able to catch, right? That's how you test things. Okay, so it comes back comparing the Figma design to the current code. I can spot 3 changes. Hero floating badge, so it got that right, moved from the bottom left to the top right of the image. CTA banner changed from gray 900 to this brownish red. Footer changed from powered. This is crazy, honestly. So I get to like implement, and then it implements all of this to UI, and then I can check the UI, and you see it has moved this to the top. It has changed. I don't think it has changed this guy, but I think it's still in the process. So yeah, it has changed it now to the brownish red, and then it should change the footer text now to built by Joel, which is really nice. So this tells like there is a synchronization, and this is awesome. Now there is so much more to what you can do with the Figma MCP. There is way more to what can be done, but this is really eye-opening. This is awesome, and I thought to create this video. This is me exploring the whole. I've explored pushing my design, but this is like the first time I'm exploring pushing it back from Figma here. Now, if you really want to understand what's happening behind the scene, feel free to like check out this article. I could write another one on like the various tools that are available, but yeah, and if there is any particular video you would like me to create, but once in a while like this, I tend to like create videos on things I find interesting. Yeah. Check my channel, and if you've not yet subscribed, I would like to subscribe to my channel, and you can suggest videos you want me to create. Yeah, I'll talk to you some other time. Yeah, bye.